On that night, I just happened to be working patrol. My name is Sergeant Daryl Jones. I'm in the police department, criminal investigations. You know how people say that, kids have an old soul. Quamyia she was an old lady in a young person's body. Very wise. She offered advice to people all the time. Sometimes people go to her and say, "Hey, what do you think about this?" Quamyia, she's always had an infectious smile. She could offer advice at 9 and 10 years old. And I'm like, well, how are people listening to this child? But like I said, she was ahead of her time. Very nice person, very humble. Rarely got into anything. She liked people. She was a people's person. There was a call for a shooting at 1900 block of West Highland Avenue. Well, the call came from a juvenile child, so at which point I thought the child might have been playing on the phone. Going up to the scene, when I pulled onto the street in the 1900 block of West Highland Avenue, I saw an all too familiar car. That car belonged to one of my family members. At which point the doors were still open on the vehicle. So at that time I became suspicious. Seemed like time stopped because when I looked at the female, I noticed that it was my niece Quamyia Jones on the ground on the curbstone, and she had bled out. At which point medics were called, but at that time my world came to a standstill. What I got from the scene that there was a drive-by and Quamyia was taking a baby inside of the house in the 1900 block of West Highland, and she had got a stray bullet. The impact of this situation between gun violence and as a family member, that situation it brought the family closer together. But as for me, being a police officer and that family member that had to respond, it put a strain on my relationship with some family members as well, due to the fact that I wouldn't say a negative strain, but I would have to go around knowing that I'm a police officer, but I wasn't able to help Quamyia. So even at events surrounding Quamyia, I would say, well, maybe people will look at me different because I wasn't even able to help my niece. But in a different aspect, I was able to educate people from that, like people that have lost young children to gun violence. I would want everybody to do their part. And some people may have that negative aspect of, oh, just because we turn in guns, it's not gonna do anything. But it's just like world hunger. It's not gonna end overnight. But if we do our part, we can slowly help the problem.